Hey everyone, welcome to Chair Champions Talk. I'm Gabe,
And I'm Noah.
and we hope. Just so you know, I know my audio sounded weird last time. There's a little problem, but it sounds good now. But there's a little bit of latency, so I may accidentally talk over Noah now and then. I'll do my best with that though. If you want to suggest films here, we talk about films, movies, TV shows, anime, anything. And if you want ideas or you want to tweet us or anything like that, you can either comment in the description or go to the link in the description where you can get at Gabe N Noah 1 on Twitter and then tweet us stuff. And today we're talking about Elf.
Woo! It's like my favorite Christmas movie ever.
Mm-hmm. I have paper here.
Oh my god, he has papers. Unlike me,
yes,
where
I have actual paper.
Yeah, and unlike me, where I can like recite the movie like word by word, because I've watched that movie too many times. Too many times.
Too many times. Oh my goodness. In fact, funny thing about this movie, the first time I ever watched it was actually the first time that I hung out really with Noah when it was one of the first times me and him chilled. Like I stayed. I remember it was a Kiro thing. We had an event, right, and then we all went to your house, and we were
watching
Elf. Before we watched. Oh right, yeah, that's true. We were watching something
like
else.
watching Christmas movies
before
we watched the gospel movie.
Yes, that was it. And Christmas and Elf was one of them. And we watched the whole thing. It was the first time I ever saw the movie Elf. Funny enough,
he was so focused on it.
I was. I remember we were just there, and everyone was like, some people were watching it, but most of y'all had seen. Everyone I think had seen it once before. But since I had never seen it, I was focused. I was zeroed in. But in case anyone who hasn't seen the film, spoilers. But in case you're wondering, Elf is a 2003 American Christmas comedy film directed by Jon Favreau, and written by David Berenbaum, starring Will Ferrell, James Caan, Zoe Deschanel, sorry, and Mary Steenburgen and Daniel Tay, Bob Newhart, and Ed Asner. Quick synopsis. The film centers on Buddy, a human who was adopted and raised by Santa's elves. He learns about this and heads to New York to meet his biological father, while also spreading Christmas cheer in a world of cynics in the process. So let's actually, I'd like to start out with the hardware section, Noah, to hear your thoughts on it, because you know the movie way better than I did. I have not seen it since that day, so I don't know very much on it. So let's start with the hardware section.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love how many jokes were put into this movie, because it was just like pure magic of all the practical, prop, verbal, even some dark humor, just all mixed into a melting pot of comedy. But the best thing that held it all together was that family aspect. Like, this guy who thought he was an elf for all his life finally figures out, oh, I'm not like everyone else in my village. I am adopted. Which, when you look at the movie, you're like, yeah, I figured that one out a long time ago. But then, like, he meets his dad, and it's real rough. Like, it's a real rough start for him. Like, the dad's just figuring out that his first love gave him a child that he never knew about. only to find like 30 years later him at his doorstep singing Christmas song just at the top of his head, dressed as an elf.
Yeah, I think I remember that bit.
But and then like he's already got a kid at home as well, so you see like some brotherly bonding happening there as well. It's surprisingly kind of like a romantic comedy as well because of Zoe Deschanel's like input to the movie, and yeah, it's just that was a great bit. But throughout the whole movie, it's just like just
Yeah.
toss in joke, 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 and it nails it on the head every time.
Yeah, Will Ferrell has a very good I would say as far like I think I from what I seen him in fact, didn't Will Ferrell also star in hold on. Let me see if I can find it. There's another one I think he starred in, and he both has a great attitude. Yes, it is. He was in Megamind, and I loved him in that. He had a
Yes.
wonderful voice acting in that, and I think he did very well in. I would say he did very well in this as well. Just being he's a cartoony man, you know. That's the thing about him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's great for children's movies,
Um,
and he's a bit wild when
yes,
it comes to adult
oh
movies.
yes, right. Yeah, he's a bit like what's his name? Hank. What's his who is it?
Hank.
From Forrest Gump. Tom
Hank.
Hanks. That's it.
Oh yeah. I'm like, Hank.
Yeah.
Who the hell's Hank? Yeah, Tom
Hank.
Hanks. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Great with Toy Story, but
he's a bit like Tom Hanks in the fact he's good for kids movies. Oh yes, great in Toy Story.
he's a bit wild on adult films.
Yeah, can get a little wild there. Another how about another one of the hardware questions? Um, So I assume that you liked the overall plot of the whole adopted guy. He's like, okay, need to learn what my real father's like, and then it's like, don't meet your heroes type of thing. Because as it turns out, his father's not the best man, or he's very different. At least I wouldn't say his father was bad. His father was just different. You know, it was not what he
His dad
expected. At
is
least,
yeah. His dad is major Wall Street material.
right?
And Wall
He's like the
Street is a
demonstration of what we'd expect a city man. Like he's like an exaggerated city man, or like he's that like he's the Scrooge of the city is what you feel. It's the feeling you get from him.
yes. That is true. Wait, what was the
Um
question in the beginning though? Because kind of cut out for a second.
the oh sorry. The question was, I assumed that you were good with the plot. But I was also
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you. And you said the acting was good, so I think. Oh, what about the acting of what's her name? I think it was.
Cut out again.
I'm not the acting of the lady, the woman, the female interest, the love interest.
Oh, yeah. Zoe Deschanel. I mean, she's mostly there just for character plot, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
she's this is by far one of her better works through the coming years of her movies.
Okay.
I mean,
Uh, would you say? Um, 1 second. Would you say that she could have had, or do you think that the love interest, the girl, could have had a better role in the story, or do you think for this movie, for the type of movie it was, and the comedy and the whole thing about it, that like the role of the character, not necessarily the acting, but the character itself? Like, do you think it fit well into the narrative of what they were going with?
Yes, definitely. The reason for it
Okay,
is, yeah, but the reason for it is just
go
because
ahead. You were saying you
this is so weird. Okay. Um, sorry for the latency, by the way. It's just, COVID.
yeah, that's my bad.
But
Yeah.
what was I saying? Yeah, it fit because it's like, oh, it's like just put a little cherry on top, you know?
Okay. Yeah, it was a little thing. Ah, nice. He gets the girl type of thing.
Yes.
I would say one thing, and tell me what your thoughts on this are. Um, would you say that the movie had a great it put in a comical, almost cartoony sense a different idea of, hey, this is actually a kind of serious story about someone, about like almost the idea of a child learning about the real world, innocent, like, and learning and trying to like, in the sense that it's like you don't want to lose the cheer. You don't want to lose childlike glee and happiness, but you have do there are realities in the world that you have to face. And sometimes it's an ugly head that you have to face. And for him, it wasn't the best experience because most of it he didn't understand. He did not get it at all. He was like, wait, what? What do you mean? That man's not Santa. I know the real Santa, all that stuff. He didn't get what was going on. He was out of
Mm-hmm.
the loop in many
It's
ways.
because he's where he stayed, there was a lot of childlike innocence still there, and then he's plopped down in the most
Mhm.
odd city in the world.
Right, right. So it put a lot of things into perspective, I think, for him that he wasn't expecting, like at all. Like it's like
You
you
thought,
learn when you learn something is different than you thought it was. It's like getting punched in the face. It's not what you were expecting.
yep, and that's how it feels. Yeah, from real world experiences.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So let's see. What? What? Hmm? There's something you wanted to say? You started.
Oh, I think it cut out. I was saying, um, if you wanted any more questions or if we were moving to software.
I think we might move to software, although the software section might be like a little bit short since I wasn't able to watch the movie. But well, lately. But I would say from what I remember, camera work, pretty. It was actually fairly well done. I think the camera work, like there wasn't anything unique about it, in my opinion. It was just decent, camera work. The editing, I do think they did pretty well with the editing in the sense that it was like they did very vibrant colors, I think, in the beginning to emphasize the change because when they go to the city, it just delays and turns into not delays, but they bring the saturation way down for everything but him. And I don't know if that was a major part of the editing or if that had more to do. I think they just chose a costume design and the colors of it were designed perfectly to stand out like crazy. Cause like I've seen Christmas outfits and and a lot of them aren't actually as brightly colored as we expect them to be. They're like a dark green or a dark white and blue or something like that. They're usually not as popping out at you as they were in this film. So I think that was definitely on purpose.
Uh,
One other thing, costume design was very like just the design of the props and things that was very well done.
yeah. Um, I just think, yeah, they did very well for themselves because CGI was still becoming a thing around this time.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
like, when
yeah.
you see the snowball fight, you see, like, it very, like, you can tell, like, it's been, like, frame shot by frame shot, him moving, or you could see the blur lines of his arm moving. A little too comically.
Yeah. Let me see. There's something I was gonna bring. Is this it? No. Um, that brings up another thing. Something they have here. The show, I believe, did very well for itself in a technical sense because the running time is about 97 minutes, so it's about an hour and a half. The budget for it, now listen to this. This is pretty good. The budget for it was about $33 million, right? The box office on it, I believe they grossed about 175 million. The full box office was 322 million in the box offices. Um, it was 175 million in the United States and Canada, 47 in other territories for a worldwide total. So this is like about 222 million against a production budget of 33 million. So it did very well for itself in a reception sense. They did very well with this. Let me see. Apparently a video game was made about it. We might consider playing that on the channel.
I would definitely play it, like, just to figure out what the hell.
Yeah, to find out what the heck it is. It might I have to wonder, like, since no one's heard about it as far as I know, it's either gonna be one of those, oh, this is actually kind of good, I'm gonna enjoy it, or one of those games Jon reviews where it's like, yeah,
Just like,
no, pain, agony.
my eyes, my eyes. Beyond the spirits.
We'll have to get Jean back here.
Yeah. Just
Was it Jean or Jacques?
Jacques is the bird, John is the guy.
Jacques. Right, it was Jean, the name of the bird. I forget.
No, Jacques
There was
is
one
the
other thing
bird,
that I wanted to
John
bring
is
up.
the guy.
Jacques is the bird.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
The little cyborg parrot.
Where's the thing? Okay. Got one more thing that I'd like to go over. This is. Would you say that that it is a it's like it's not for everybody. Obviously, not every film is not for everybody. There's great films out there that not everyone's gonna like, right? I
Mm-hmm.
love the Marvel films, but from what I know, Noah, you're not as hype about those ones as I am, right?
Well, it's just like they've been running so long and so many. You're like, ah, okay, something to do.
Right. It's like not everyone is, and even myself, like I'm not exactly dying out of it, but I'm kind of just, okay, I'm becoming more of a casual fan of the series. But during the running of all the Marvel films, I love pretty much all the Marvel films. My favorite one is still Captain America, one of the first films. I think not one of the first. They had those one-off Hulks first, and there was the Daredevil, which wasn't made by Marvel Studios as far as I know. We may have a review on one of those, but moving on. I would say I have noticed though that Elf is the type of film that you absolutely love, like you, Noah, and I enjoy it. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's definitely an enjoyable film. Or you absolutely hate it, because I've noticed a lot of people who don't like the comedy because it's somewhat slapstickish, somewhat a little bit of adult humor, and quite a bit of like somewhat on the
Mm-hmm.
nose humor, I would say. And I think that's why some people don't really are like. There's people who like it. There's people who don't. But yeah, like my great grandmother, I know she would not like the film. That's one of the reasons I've never shown it to her, because after even seeing from the trailer, I know she wouldn't like it, but I enjoyed it. So,
Okay,
what would you
so
say about that?
usually the people who hate it are, yes, people who've either seen um like earlier works of Will Ferrell and have not been a fan of them, or are they
Hmm.
are the very die-hard fans where they're like, all the adult films that he has, all the children's films that he has, they've at least seen it once or twice. And usually the ones who are die-hard
Ah,
fans prefer him in adult films, because he can be more let loose.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
Like
sense. Um,
they'd prefer the
go
movie
ahead.
The Other Guys.
Oh, wait. I don't think I've seen that yet, unfortunately.
You might
But
not want to for a while.
I well, now I'm endeared. Now I might have to. Now that you've said I might not want to. How dare you?
All right.
Oh, that's interesting. I just
What?
apparently the Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, was made at the same time as this. I did not
Yeah,
know that. Um,
I did
huh.
because
Dang.
my
All
uncle
right.
was all jitty about it.
Uh, okay. Um, I'd like to mention there's another movie with Will Ferrell in it, is the Lego Movie. And
Yes,
I think there's also like my we loved everyone loved the Lego Movie. So I think it might also have to do like I don't think my family is a very or a lot of the people that I know are not really big fans of Will Ferrell. It's not because I don't think it's because they think he's bad necessarily, but I think there are certain things that they think
he
he's
does.
better in. Like we liked the Lego Movie. We liked Megamind was a beautiful piece of work. We might even have to do a review on that one day. Um, but yeah, Will Ferrell is a cartoony adult, is what I would say, because he can do adult humor, but he does great in like for kids movies type of
Hmm.
thing. So he does good in a lot of different things. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say as far as hardware? Acting, storytelling, the plot, and all that.
Oh, that's a definite 10 out of 10 for me.
For me, as far as the software section goes, this is more. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a 100% accurate rating because I haven't seen it in a while. But from what I can remember, I'd say it's an 8 or 9 out of 10. Mainly, the only reason I'm giving it a 1 point less has more to do with the um some of the coloration. I pointed this out earlier. The coloration contrast was good. Um, but I think it could have been played with a little bit better, in a few ways. Maybe I don't know, just a little bit better editing, in my personal opinion. But overall, yes, a good film. So about it, pretty much a 10 out of 10 for both of us for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, yes. So before any of you leave, before y'all leave, got a thing to say. If you like Chair Champions talk, like I said, you can go to our Twitter. But next week, we will be talking about a very special thing that we're gonna watch together. Or unless actually, I've watched it already, so you can watch it if you want, Noah. Is the
Nah.
trailer for the new upcoming Tom and Jerry movie. No, don't say anything about it right now. We'll talk about it in the episode next week. But look,
Tom and Jerry.
if you haven't seen it, look up. Yes, dude. In fact, we might just if you want, we could watch it like right after this recording. We might just do that. But anyway, thank you everyone. This was Elf, the film. Wonderful film. We both liked it. It's not perfect, but it is wonderful. Put it that way. It's a great film. You should go watch it for yourself. Make your own speculations. Tell us what you think we got right, what we think we got wrong, what your own personal opinions on the film and whatnot. But anyway, I'm Gabriel.
I'm Noah.
And this has been Chair Champions Talk. Thank you for watching.